From the backstretch at Saratoga, this is the Handicappers Report. The Handicappers Report is brought to you by Hanel's Restaurant, a Saratoga tradition since 1922. 284 Jefferson Street, Saratoga, just minutes from the track. The new Capital OTB wagering platform. Bet any place, anytime with the new Capital OTB wagering platform. And CapitalOTBBet.com, the premier wagering site in New York State.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Handicappers Report alongside Seth Merrow. I am Anthony Mormino on what is a very pleasant morning, but apparently this is going to be one of those days, and by one of those days I mean very hot and steamy. And I will say this, I got a, I don't know what they're called, but a text message from National Grid that this will be a high energy day. I said,
oh, I saw that too.
Not to worry, I won't be turning off the air conditioner. But it is going to be very, very warm. So bring up your flip-flops and your shorts and a light t-shirt and enjoy week 2 at Saratoga. Seth, good morning.
Good morning.
How was your weekend?
Yeah, it was,
the horse players is Monday and Tuesday.
Yeah, it was nice to have a couple of days off and just recharge the batteries a little bit. So I'm a shiny new penny in here. But while you were talking, I was looking at last week's numbers, opening week numbers.
Whoa. That'd be great.
18.1% increase in all sources handled.
I think it was just the pick six by itself.
Damn, that was. And then average field size for the first. This is from a column by Dave Brenning, by the way, Racing Forum. Average field size for the first 41 races of the meet, 8.75 compared to 8.10 last year. So field size up a tick. It was a nice week. Joe Rosario leading the riders at this point. Chad Brown leading the trainers.
Back up. Is he tied for trainers?
No, you're right. Yeah, 4 wins apiece with
stuff. And what's interesting is one trainer won all 4 on one day.
Yeah.
The other trainers won a race a day.
Yeah.
So that's obviously Chad Brown winning 4 on Saturday, and Christophe Clement trying to win 40 races, I guess. You know, there's just one a day, like in Apple, etc. I was thinking as I was coming up, which I had plenty of time to do, Seth. I arrived on Seth Merrow time.
6 days, and I've beaten you 3.
2.
No.
What
It's
other
been 3.
Pre-production day.
First day, today, and might have been Sunday. There was one that was Saturday or Sunday.
You are delusional. Twice.
No.
Right.
We'll check with the guys.
Yeah, check with those guys. So I was thinking that I probably have driven up the Northway somewhere between 1,200 and 1,600 times coming to the track. This is the first time I was ever stalled. There was a accident, and it had at exit 8, and the traffic had stopped while I was still in Albany County. Mm-hmm. And I called our director, and I was like, I was past the exit to get off on 7. So now and there's many of us, and I hope no one was injured. It was completely cleared. I think I saw the marks where it was. And then the other thing I was thinking, you know, you can usually see when it starts to clear. Now, I know you're a Syracuse alum, so you love their hoops and the Jets, if I remember correctly. Do you like Formula One racing?
Not much.
Okay. Well, they do something different than I think most of us are probably familiar with Daytona and Indy, where they start but the cars are moving. But in Formula One, they're stationary and the lights actually go off. That's when you go. And that's what it felt like today. And I was thinking, everybody just stay in your lane. Give us like a mile to get up to speed and to separate, and we couldn't do that.
Yeah,
it had to be like Formula One, into the first turn, people diving everywhere. I'm like, that's not a good plan. But the rest of us, I think, got up safely. But I was thinking, because, you know, Seth and I have never had similar driving patterns to the track. You used to come from the west, which I never have, and I've always come due south. But that's a lot of trips up. I'm going against traffic. Well, whether I'm coming or going, I'm always the minority traffic on the Northway. And I was just thinking, as I was thinking I might be late for this seat, it had never happened before. And I mean,
So your streak is alive.
well,
You made it.
also the other thing is, like, there's never been traffic coming up the Northway for me. Probably because with this job, it's just so early. Even people going up for the weekend, it's just too early. But we made it. I hope the people are safe down there. We're to week 2 at Saratoga. It's going to be warm today, very warm. So dress appropriately, as they say, and stay hydrated.
Yes,
Yeah.
always.
A term never used in the 1980s, and nobody fell down.
Just want to hit on a couple other things because racing goes on at other venues. Hard to believe, but during Saratoga and going back to Monday, it was the New York Derby up at Saratoga, and Barisi got it done as the 7 to 5 second choice aggregation was the even money favorite, finished third. It was field that scratched down to 4. But Barisi got it done for Mike Maker, Ricardo Santana on board. Best Idea ran second for Pletcher and Velasquez. Manny Franco was on aggregation for Chad Brown. Barisi had, bounced around some state bred company, had tried open company. The previous race ran 4th behind Tawny Port in the Ohio Derby. He had tried the Wood Memorial. You would have to think with the win in the New York Derby, the Albany, back in against state breds for some decent money might be on the radar for that one. But again, that's going back to Monday.
When did they move to
Finger Lakes?
a weekday?
It's been at least a couple of years, but I think it's one of those where they're going where you ain't, which I think
Well,
is
I mean,
probably
it's a good thinking.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't run a Saturday afternoon about 5 o'clock. You're going to get lost in the shuffle if the shuffle is just this deck here. But you know what major, huge race used to be run on a weekday? And it only changed since we've actually been working together. Like one of the great races in the world.
Well, I mean, the
Epsom Derby.
I was going to say the majority of Royal Ascot was.
Well, it's all weekends, but the Epsom Derby used to be
Not all. There's a Saturday.
now.
Well, there's a Saturday.
Did it start this year? I thought it was next year was starting.
What's starting?
Royal Ascot running till Saturday.
No, they go Tuesday to Saturday.
But then they used to go Monday to Friday?
I don't
Didn't
know,
he-
but they've been going Tuesday to Saturday
okay.
for a while.
All right, but and they used to, the line used to be in England, they don't want the commoners to come for the Epsom Derby, so they ran on Wednesday. But they shifted, because now sometimes I think it falls on Belmont Day, early in the
Okay.
morning,
Yeah.
etc.
Speaking of Ascot, also did want to mention the King George and Queen Elizabeth comes up on Saturday. That should be fun. It's Mishriff and Torquato Tasso. If I'm anywhere near that, do I go?
No,
how to
it's
pronounce-
close enough. I'm not going to get any better.
Yeah.
I have
But
to say
was last year's ARC winner.
I was talking with our down in Albany producer Danny, and I've said this before. The people behind the camera at Capitol, they love horse racing. They're into it, and we were talking yesterday when I unannouncedly stopped in to get the next show kind of straightened out or planned. I am of the opinion it's the greatest race in the world. It will never get the publicity of the ARC because of its history, but the ARC with the weather and the ground time of year is questionable. But the King George, because it's in July and the weather, and it's especially good this time of year, is more often than not on firm going. It's often the first time the 3-year-olds take on the elders at the European Classic distance of 1.5 miles. But I would say the last 20 years, I have said, I've talked to some of our colleagues, I just think it's mostly because of the ground. I mean, the ARC is great because the 3-year-old's a little older, but sometimes the ground comes up so different that horses have no chance. That's not often the case in the King George. I know the 3-year-olds are, it's only July, but I think it's the greatest race in the world. I just think it could stand up to any scrutiny.
Sporting Life today has time forms best winners of the King George from each of the last 5 decades. Mill Reef,
Okay.
Reference Point.
Who's 2000s?
Generous in the 2000s. Galileo.
But I'm gonna. I'm going to say something.
During the 210s,
As
2010s.
Who was the 90s?
The 90s
It has to be Monjou.
was generous. This is going by a time form number, not necessarily the
Okay.
best performance, but by the time.
Because if you want to have some laughs, Monjou's King George, as much as I love Galileo and beating Fantastic Light in what was probably the race of the decade, Monjou just toyed with them like he wasn't even trying in his King George. I think Swain won it back-to-back years, but I tell you, take in this century, it's just a great race, and that's Saturday.
And finally, on other venues, have to mention Del Mar, Friday. 110 horses and 10 races scheduled for opening day. A full field of 14. Only one division, but a full field of 14 in the ocean side coming up.
One year they ran 3 divisions.
That is always crazy.
It was probably split my entire youth, and then one year they ran 3 divisions of it, and our favorite horse, Monster B, went out there. It was like the only race he won after Saratoga. He won a two-year-old here, and then he won out there. But Friday, right? Now, my question is, because I'll download them once they put up the morning lines, I'm suspecting they're not doing the late post on the first Friday. I'm going to guess they're going to go at 2 o'clock local time there. Because usually I love Del Mar, but on Fridays it's great because, well, not Seth, because he'll still be out. But by the time I get home, it's time for the early double at Del Mar. It's 7 o'clock post time back east on Friday.
Still cooking at about 10 o'clock, and yeah, it's fun.
It's wonderful. I have never been there for the summer meet. I've been there now many times.
I've never been, period. I've been out to the Breeders' Cup.
Breeders' Cup, and I've been regular days at that Bing Crosby meet that they started 2016, I want to say, around then. That gave me the opportunity to go. Because I used to say before, it used to start 1 week before Saratoga, that Wednesday. And it would only run like 2 days after Saratoga.
And opening day is fun here. It's really fun there. Although I think they capped this year. I think it's they capped it with a pretty good crowd, but I do think they capped attendance this year.
What's funny is, and I've said this for many years, A, it's their biggest day, not Pacific Classic Day. B, if you look up all of the live sporting events in the United States that day, that will have the highest attendance. It is a cultural happening. Maybe some people there don't even recognize they're running horses, but it is a thing. It is a
You mean some of the people on track, don't
yeah,
you?
they're like, okay. But it is talked about, it is looked forward to, and it's a big thing, and it's Friday, and we on the network will have plenty of opportunity for Del Mar thoughts.
All right, head to the play of the day.
I think that's the DePaula play of the day.
The DePaula play of the day.
Who's up today?
I think it's Mr. Steve Bick with his
All
DePaula play of the day. Take it away.
When you think trucks, think DePaula. Then come join the family for value. Just visit, call, or click.
This week, celebrate with savings. Drive Silverado, just $3.99 a month. Yes, $3.99 a month.
So come join the family and think DePaula for all your automotive needs.
First full week of action at Saratoga, and the Wednesday DePaula play of the day comes in the 8th race. This is a second level allowance, good group, going 6 furlongs, and the likely winner is probably the 2 Smash Ticket from Rob Atras with Kendrick Carmouche. But I'm interested in Secret Love. Secret Love is the 4, Johnny aboard for John Kimmel. Kimmel had a very good end to Belmont and it's had a solid start getting his horses to run so far at the meet as well, with a couple of placements from 3 starts going into Wednesday. 10-1 on Secret Love. Doesn't need the lead. There's lots of speed. Might get a very good trip in behind the leaders and might be the one to catch late. The DePaula play of the day, Secret Love, as we start the first full week of action at the Spa. Good luck.
When you think trucks, think DePaula. Then come join the family for value. Just visit, call, or click.
This week, celebrate with savings. Drive Equinox, just $2.59 a month. Yes, $2.59 a month.
So come join the family and think DePaula for all your automotive needs.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I think 10-1 on the morning line. I like it, Mr. Bick. Trying to hit the, what was it last year? It was like guaranteed to be in the black by like the third
Yeah,
show.
it was-
what a
It was-
place to be.
It was quite a start. There's no question about it. Yeah, absolutely.
And the I've said this before. And you get to meet a lot of people or something, but in Steve's case or any public handicappers, knowing you're in the black, it's gonna happen. I've tried to explain this to people last night. These are just people that don't follow the game, but I said it's not the same playing from ahead and playing from behind. And I've played sports, and you've played sports. It's not like that at all. This is far more pressure packed, and to be your bankroll. That's why I said to you, I'd love to just sit down and talk with somebody who's a regular player, been doing it for a while, and they find themselves on opening day, and they're good record keepers, and they say, I do suspect under normal circumstances, the way I play, I'm out for the meet. And to buy them dinner, just to like what it's like nowadays to go for 39 days and know that the pressure cooker is off. And I've always said that I would swing for the fences. I would not try and grind out more. I would try and hit home runs. But it's got to be,
I'm not there, but it was
No.
it was a fun weekend. I'm not close to there, but it was a fun weekend. Made a little money. Hopefully, other people did. Oh, Sunday.
all right.
Jumped in the low rollers.
Yes.
And my dark horse play, the day scores at $34. So of course I have that in the low rollers contest.
Lady Thornhill,
I
remember.
have a bullet live going into the last race of the contest, which is the next to last race. They don't ever use the last race. And you can see where this story is going.
I know where it's going. Let me interrupt here. I can tell you where this isn't going. My man is a Syracuse alum guy. Loves Syracuse basketball, which only plays a 2-3 zone defense. If that horse had been named 2-3, you would have been down the road.
I have a bullet. I'm coming in. I'm debating between two horses.
Well, we know who
One of them runs fourth. One of them wins.
At a big price.
You can see, and I wind up seventh in the contest, as opposed to if I had picked the other one. Going between the two horses, and
you had that one if you had the other one, right?
Oh yeah, I would have
Well,
won.
who's going to have a $30 winner and a $25?
I would have won easily, and it's.
I told you, if they had named that horse 2-3 zone, Seth would have been. That's my alma mater. That's a 2-3 zone.
Yeah, so first low rollers of the season, I was right there.
Yeah, I don't want to.
Zigged when I should have zagged.
You've laid it out pretty good. We're big fans of it. Seth was played it. Did you get paid? Is seventh good?
No, it was down to fifth.
Five.
But there was a good crowd, 170 some in there. I was seventh of 170. Everybody walked away. The money winners walked away happy.
So basically,
and again, you keep what's on your card.
Right.
My card was nice. I had
so it's
nice
like
chunk of money on the card.
You said they keep $10 for the prize pool, so there was a $1,700
Correct.
divided by the top five for the people. But you've always raved about it. When you explained it to me the first time, I agree. I think it's one of the best ideas.
Thursdays and Sundays during the meet up here, so give it a shot.
You ready?
I am.
Because it's all you in the first. No, the opener kicks off the jump season, and I can remember when they started this race. It's now up to a Grade 1, the A.P. Smithwick Memorial, 2 miles and a 16th on the inner turf course, which for many years when I was a boy wasn't called the inner turf course. I think it was called the steeplechase course. I mean, they didn't run. Here's another thing, and I know time's flown by, but they didn't run flat races on the inner until I was like in high school. This isn't like a 40, 50, 60-year thing. They've started running flat races probably right around the summer of Aliotar and Affirmed, right about then. Before then, it was exclusively used for the jumpers.
I have a 2, 3, 7, and 5. I think. There we go. I think Pistol Whip nailed it on the morning line. Pistol Whip is going to take a lot of action. These European jumpers, they have a whole jump season. That it's much bigger over there, so when these Europeans come over, they're worth paying attention to. Now, this one ran second in the first start here, but it was the Grade 1 Iroquois. That's one of the top jump races of the season here in the United States. Not only finished second in a nice race like that, but finished second behind Snap Decision, a very talented jumper. So I think, given the European background, the second behind Snap Decision, yes, Pistol Whip probably is the one to beat. But I thought Down Royal, coming in off a nice win in the seasonal debut, carried 155 that day, gets 141 today. A nice 14-pound weight break, out tilt in that direction. And then in the third spot, Iranistan had been a Jonathan Shepard trainee, had run very well for Jonathan Shepard. Now Kerry Breon training, and coming out of a trouble trip in the Iroquois. I'm going to look for this one to rebound to what we saw just prior to that. So for me, 2, 3, 7, or 5.
All I can add is that, if my math is right here, Down Royal won the next race on the card after the Grade 1 Iroquois. Right, Grade 1 Iroquois was the
Correct.
fourth race at 3 miles, and then the next race up was a 2.25 mile listed stake that Down Royal. So it's enjoyable.
I like the jump races. I think they're fun to watch.
I agree. I've always said, though, and we had it here for a little while, is like, I'd like it to be the final race of the day.
Yeah,
They ran the Turf Riders and other races as the last race of the
Yep,
day.
we're doing that for a while.
Yes, they were.
Speaking of which,
Apparently, like Twilight Racing, I can't get enough votes.
oh yeah, that I am sorry it ended, but I think the town may have had. So I think folks want
I think
another
there's little
seating at the rest.
I think there's little doubt
Extra.
because when I think the first time they had it, like the attendance was a 35% increase above the previous Friday that they had done it. So I don't think it was for lack of attendance.
And I think it brings in a new crowd.
I agree.
All right, second race at Saratoga this afternoon. Conditional claimer, 7 furlongs is the trip.
I thought it was an interesting race, mostly because of a horse that I left off and Seth put on top. And I am not surprised, even though I am laughing, that, Evoking, I've said this before, I am changing my tune about the fact that they never come back to themselves after these extremely long layoffs. So Evoking...
And comes back at a claiming price. I am completely in the mind frame, and I debated, went back and forth, and because of Jonathan Thomas and Augusta, I thought, I'm going to put a little trust in them. But you do have to look at this askance. There's no question about it. Yes,
and I took Mariah's Fortune, and I'm not attracted to 6 to 5, but Brad Cox has already shown a horse that you look at it on a paper, all you're thinking is fire sale. You usually try and stay away from those horses, especially when they're 6 to 5 on the morning line. But, Brad Cox is one behind the leaders. The leaders are at 4. Brad Cox is at 3, and, he won 2 races. He won with that horse that he claimed on a big drop. So I guess with Luis Saez in the saddle, I took Mariah's Fortune. The 4, my choice was that I was going to leave one of the 2 short prices horses out, and I left the one out that Seth put on top. But we have a couple horses. Baby, it's gold outside for Jeremiah Engelhardt, who's off to a terrific start at the meet, coming off a couple of off-the-turf tries. Now, one of them was on the Tapeta on income tax day, a second-place finish, and then most recently a well-being third. And for third, right in between my top 2 picks, is number 5, Backed by Gold. Broke the maiden by a baker's dozen on Independence Day. Tries winners for the first time. 4, 6, 5.
Maybe the gold Zacta today for folks who are tilting in that direction. But I have a 1, 4, 6, and 3. I put Evoking on top, but yeah, you said it. When you see that fire sale kind of a thing, and the debut was against maiden specials at Belmont. So if you're really confident, you come back for a $25,000 tag. But I just look if this. I think this horse can regress and still maybe have an edge on this field. And again, I'm kind of putting my trust in the connections, and we shall see. But there are absolutely question marks. Mariah's Fortune underneath. Similar scenario, actually, with the question marks moving in for the tag. They tried the fantasy down at Oaklawn just 3 starts back. Didn't show much in there, but they had the confidence to try. Now they're dropping in for the tag. So, and then Baby, it's gold outside. A little bit of early speed. Tustin maybe, number-wise, a little bit of a clunker last time, but I think otherwise fits. And so if you're looking for alternatives to the top 2 that do have some holes in them with question marks, I have it 1, 4, 6, and 3.
You know, when poker became enormously popular, it only took one change to make it popular, and that was to let the audience see the cards. This race kicks off the early pick 5, the race we just talked about, the second race. Maybe I'm wrong, but I would almost like a game show style with like somewhere between 3 and 10 and playing your tickets and going forward, because my question has always been, do you take the 1, 4 and move on? If you're in the early pick 5, do you feel between Evoking and Mariah's Fortune in a restricted 25 and go forward?
This is one where I'm probably using both of those, but I'm probably using my other two because of the holes. I mean, there are definitely races where I would use the 2 favorites, but I wouldn't want to use 2 favorites that have these kind of question marks.
Okay.
I mean, this is a race to me where maybe, because, you know, you then go from, as I say, my next horse is Baby It's Gold Outside at 12-1. These two are 8-5 and 6-5, and they have holes in them. So this is a race where I wouldn't leave them out, but I would probably go deeper and hope to get by them at a decent price.
On most horse racing shows, they go, but to me, that would be good. Put 5 people up there and go, no, yes, no. We'll see their cards, buy their tickets, and you're like, I'm not taking these 4. I don't like to play it this way. And it would have to run for like almost 200 racing days, and then you just put the money at the bottom. Because I have to tell you, folks, for someone who loves racing day in, day out for 40 plus years, I think it's very interesting. I don't play the pick 5, but I think it's very interesting how you attack it, and that's a good example. On to the third race, we get to the turf. State Breds, Fillies, and Mares. Maiden Claimers in for 40, dashing 5.5. Another UFC monster.
7, 5, 9, and 1. Izzy a Malibu Moon on top by Gormley. The debut was okay. Debut was down at Monmouth against Open Maiden Specials. Comes up to Saratoga to face Claiming State Breds. I will note, there's a little bit of breeding here that's interesting. There's a sibling called Desert that won his career debut, had 3 wins in the first 4 starts of the career. So I thought there was a little win early breeding-wise. But do note, the dam's first fall was in 2003. She's a little long in the tooth, and that always concerns me a little bit. But I thought the debut was pretty good. Good number, matches up nicely with this field, and again, moves in for a state bred claiming tag on the move from Monmouth. So I think this one's legit. In Virginia in the second spot, also comes in from out of town to face state breds, also moving maiden special weight to maiden claiming. Ran well down at Delaware. Again, the number was a little bit better on my top pick, but the number for this one matches up very well with this field. So pretty similar scenario. And then Rent Control in the third spot. Kind of got a little wake-up call, it seems like, last time in the 4th career start. Seems to be moving in the right direction. Might be primed for even better today. 7, 5, 9, and 1.
The only thing that concerned me about Anne Virginia, I thought the debut race was outstanding. I mean, forget the 41. I always like horses that are good on the turn. I think that's a sign of athleticism. And I thought Anne Virginia was fantastic on the turn. The winner was 4-5 and got the perfect rail trip. My question was, there's no way I'm running for a tag. That was a very good debut race. I would definitely tee it up again, but I think it was a terrific debut race down there. And 5-2 on the morning line. But it just surprised me they went for a tag. Now, I mean, maybe the 40,000, I don't know. But I'm 187 here, folks. The 1 Chiara is scheduled to break for the number 3 post position. I like the most recent effort. The rails were up, so go with it as you please. With the teletimer, Chase Wyatt finished 3rd. Luis Saez gets the call this time for James Bond. For second, number 8, Gracefully Wild. As I said, my old rule used to be set, they don't come back. And it's whatever level your water was at. But this filly has, and her most recent effort, Beaten Chalk, was a lifetime best buyer speed figure. And for 3rd, 7-5 on the morning line. Your top pick, Seth. I thought, even though the beaten favorite, I thought it was a good race. I think he had like a 5-horse photo finish for 3rd. So that's like 7 horses within 10 feet of each other or so. I think it's a highly contentious race. Quick note, the 10, the 1A, and the 2B, and the 1X are all MTOs. So 187 in the 3rd.
Yeah, we'll say in Virginia, you talk about coming back for the tag. Homebred,
Yeah,
if you look at the sire, they paid $2,500, depending on what the deal was. They get 40,000 and the 30 out of the purse. They get 70,000. They may.
That's what I was thinking. And the other thing I was thinking, they might think we have a very low pot. All the mathematics stands up the way you said it for the accounting. And what do we got? A 3 to 5% chance of being claimed?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, who's gonna grab us? I mean, you take that risk. But I thought it was a good debut, and since I didn't have her in the mix and you did, I wanted to add that I think that debut race was right. You know, you got the maiden morning line. David Aragona thinks the fans are going to go for it, but my only question was why for attack. Take a quick break. When we come back, more kicking off week 2.
A day at the track isn't complete without a night at the Horseshoe. Great food, hot music, and cold drinks. So why go downtown when all the action's just across from the track? The Horseshoe Inn at the corner of Nelson and Gridley.
Come on.
I want sales reports on my desk by Monday.
Oops. My bad.
Love racing? RTN brings you every live simulcast on your home television, plus live video streaming and race replays on your PC and mobile devices. To order, visit rtn.tv. RTN, a breed apart.
Birdstone is an outside front. They're coming down to the finish. Can Smarty Jones hold on? Here comes Birdstone. Birdstone surges past. Birdstone wins the Belmont Stakes.
Having trouble finding us? It's actually quite simple. Whether online or on your TV, it's never been easier to watch and wager on championship horse racing with Capital OTB. Simply log on to capitalotbbet.com. There you can watch our morning shows, live stream races, and wager on our state-of-the-art wagering platform. You can also watch from the comfort of your home on Spectrum Cable Channel 1250 or Fios Channel 467, and win more with Capital OTB.
Welcome back to Handicappers Report, kicking off week number 2. And as we come back from the first break, it's time for the Dark Horse Play of the Day, brought to you by the Dark Horse Mercantile, 445 Broadway, Saratoga Springs, New York. The smart bet is always the Dark Horse, as they say downtown. I continue to tout stopping by. I think you'll have a lot of fun just looking. They have some great racing memorabilia in there, other apparel and home decor items and whatnot. Down the street, their sister store, Impressions of Saratoga, also a great place to kind of mingle and check out. If you're downtown, stop by both and tell them you saw it on OTB TV. And I will also note, talking to the Dark Horse people, they have been generous enough to fire up an OTB account, and they're going to be playing a little across the board on the Dark Horse Play of the Day horses throughout the meet and donating the proceeds to the Thoroughbred Retirement Foundation. So that's a fun added twist to the Dark Horse Play of the Day. So far, week number 1, those win place show bets have worked out all right. On Saturday, we had our Dark Horse run second at 28-1 with $19 and $13. And Sunday, our Dark Horse ran and won, and I was not observing press box etiquette because I was a little vocal as the horse was making a move down the stretch.
Well, for charity.
Exactly, yeah, I like that. $34, $13, and $7 there. And I met some people during the day who had jumped on board and appreciated the Dark Horse.
So their number is $240.
Correct.
Well, if you missed that, they're betting $6 a day. There's 40 days, so when you do what we do and you're so consumed as I am by ROI, that 240 is the number they're chasing, and they have taken a big bite out of the apple.
54, 70, we're up over $80. So yeah,
that's a big bite. We are not 1/3 of the way through the racing, and they have taken a big chunk.
When Lady Thornhill won, I was thinking on the win side, you're shooting for 80 and you got 34. I'm almost halfway there at day 4. So we'll see how it plays out. But today I have Prince James in the sixth race, dark horse play of the day, David Donk trainee, and he's off to a nice little start at the meet. This one was claimed last time out off a dud, and I think that is going to hold up. What?
It was your turn to introduce the race and me to go first. We haven't gotten there yet.
I'm doing the dark horse play of the day.
I thought you did it already.
No.
Okay.
No, I was talking about the
They're
previous.
$80?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry. Who is it?
Prince James, number 1 in race 6. Dave Donk trainee, who again tossed in a little dud last time that I think will lead to holding up some decent odds, and it's 10-1 on the morning line. Jose Ortiz on board. Notably, though, claimed out of, as I say, a little bit of a dud at 1 mile and a 16th. The races before at 6 furlongs, 6.5 furlongs, 7 furlongs were better. And so I think the cutback is going to be beneficial today. Off the claim, moving into a barn where the trainer is, as I say, off to a little bit of a good start. So I think the 10-1 is generous. I'm hoping we get that. But as I say, I think it was darkened a little bit by the race last time, and I think we're going to maybe see more of what we saw in the races before, which I think puts this horse firmly in the thick of things here. So, dark horse play of the day. Race number 6, number 1, Prince James, brought to you by the Dark Horse Mercantile in downtown Saratoga.
I always wonder if the casual fans bet Jose Ortiz as much as Irad Ortiz, because I think it's clear you get hurt price-wise with Irad. Now, he does ride a lot of Chad Brown runners, so there's a coupling there. But Jose, I don't think you get as impacted as much price-wise.
But I think they're both affected in some fashion.
Oh, absolutely. I tell you, years ago, and this was years ago, I was working with Jeff Carl at the time, a former jockey and trainer. Matter of fact, former leading apprentice jockey at Saratoga. Now, this sounds like really stupid, correctly stupid. I said, you could bet there will be more days of the Ortiz brothers having multiple wins than being shut out. Now, this was before their arc. Now, it sounds stupid, but at that time, they were just starting out. And he came back from break, and he goes, because like I said, they were just starting. We were watching him in the winter, and I'm like, these two guys can really do it. And now it's obviously laughable that somebody would say that's not a bet unless you're laying like 40-1.
Race number 4 this afternoon, state bred optional claimers, non-winners at 2, the condition, 1 mile on the grass.
And a quick note, I know we had the 1 day shot of a week, but the rails are still scheduled to be up at 9 feet and 12 feet. And as I've said before, on the last couple of years, usually the rails will come down like the day before the Travers on one of them. We run our percentage of turf races with the rails up now, Seth, over the last 3 or 4 years is through the roof compared to whenever the old days were, that you'd almost be guaranteed when you came up here for day 1 that one of them would be down, you'd be running on the hedge, and they would flip-flop. But the rails are basically up. The reason I bring that up is because I'm a teletimer geek. And 3-1-4 here. Pure Bodie gets my top pick. Second start of the year, and I thought the last race going 7/8, there was just... This was a 7 furlong sprint on the Widener set, and there was just... You would have thought it was a 3-mile race on the turf, looking at the jockeys and their hands going up the backstretch. And one thing I have to say, and I don't know that it's from watching races or running, but I was not a kicker in track and field. I was like a 400-meter runner that ran like the mile or the half. I am not backing it up so you can stay close to me, and I am dragging you through. I think that the perhaps negative impact when you back up the fractions, you bring the kickers in, and if you don't have it, you're going to get run over the top. I thought it was a good race at the end of the day. Third race in the cycle for me, Jim Ryerson, Pure Bodie, my top pick. For a second, from the hedge, or from the temporary rail, number 1, Out of Sight, David Donk's runner, going out for Mr. James Island, who one time, about 30 years ago, I had dinner with. Very fun guy. I mean, obviously, the Island race, one first time versus winners, which I like. 2 races back, and then into this level, adjudicated themselves fine as the horse to beat under Jose, and for third, number 4, Home for Christmas. Christophe Clement tries to make it 5 days in a row, 314.
I also put Pure Bodie on top, and we have picks in the Times Union. I originally had this one as my best bet, and they got back to me from the Times Union. They said, you've got it in the second slot, though. Well, if you read the Times Union, I think horse players get it. I put the MTO horse on top in my picks there. In case things get rained off, I've got a dirt meant horse there, but to keep things simpler for maybe people who aren't clued in, I went to another best bet. But again, originally Pure Bodie was on top.
I mean, the idea is that there's no harm putting on top if he scratches out because he can't run, that's fine, but you're protecting yourself in case we get rained off based on all the sweat that's going to happen today for the people. So that's why if you see it, you do it. It's just.
But they were right to get back to me because you don't want your best bet as the second, because a lot of people just aren't going to be clued in.
You didn't see Dakota Gold at 4-5 later in the program.
At 7-2, I thought this one's very intriguing.
Of course, I should say, of all the things you do besides the hard work, I think the greatest thing you've ever pulled off is something I don't think anybody has ever pulled off or will. Didn't you make like a Jonathan Shepard 20-1 horse your best bet of a day?
Oh, I've had some pretty good best bets. So
more than that?
Typically, I had a Bill Mott firster that ran very well at a price. I mean, the Shepard, was
he
probably
made a bomb his best bet of the day and got it right. I'm like, I've watched those things for years. It's like 20-1, no problem. Shepard down the road, and he was.
Yeah. So again, looking for not that, but a little bit of a price maybe with the 7-2. Second slot, Instinctive. Trainer does very well overall. We'll see how he does up here at Saratoga. But I thought the race 2 back at Parks was maybe one you could take a look at and hope to get back to, and then Out of Sight in the third spot has a little bit of positional early speed from the rail, and again Dave Donks going well. So 3, 6, 1, and 2.
On to the second race. These are open company 2-year-old.
The second race. What are you
Fifth
doing?
Race. I have 2 for the 2-year-old. Fifth race. 2-year-old fillies, open company, maiden special weights going 5.5.
2, 3, 4, and 8. I put You Glow Girl on top. Gervin off to a very good start on the sire side. 9 first-time starters. And again, these stats are maybe a week old. 9 first-time starters so far this year, 4 wins in a second. Those are pretty good numbers. I will note, though, on the bottom side, there's a sibling called No Spin. 4 starts and no in the money finishes. So good on the top, not so much on the bottom, but Brad Cox is good enough and the workouts seem okay that I was kind of willing to overlook the sibling stats. You Glow Girl on top. Numero 6. I looked up the pronunciation. I'm thinking I'm in the ballpark right. There, is it? Okay. Which is number 6. Sire Frosted, 36 first-time starters this year, 5 wins, 4 seconds, 3/3. Those are good numbers. Sibling called Tiny Tina was 11th in debut, but won the second start. Another sibling called Tina's Exchange. First 4 ran second, then won the 5th start. So I thought there was a little win early there. And then in the third spot, whatchamacall, another Frosted second-time starter like the number 3 horse. So I think they both have a little win early, and with experience, that's going to help. In the 5th, 2, 3, 4, and 8.
I know you don't have them on top, but numero 6, I guarantee this. I'm not even going to put any restrictive clauses. There were people gnashing their teeth because whomever they are, Joe Sharp knew. That horse was 15-1. It sat behind it was 4th. You see that in the thing. But it sat behind a 3-pronged challenge for the lead. You had to be dreaming if you knew that this horse could run. Tipped out and gets run over by a horse in the last 50 yards. They had to be gnashing their teeth that at 15-1, they were going to the windows, and then, just how it happened, just got run over by a horse.
I think that was another one of those Bolty Horror runners, too, Bolts and
Yes.
Rainbows.
And my thought was, I think that was the time. Like, they had them ready. Maybe they'll be ready again today. Has the veteran event. I'm 4-2-1. I'm taking another one of the veterans in here. The first-time starters are the 1, 2, 5, 7, and 8. But the one coming out of the Monmouth Park race, Fancy Joke made every step. So that, we've heard of that at racetracks, Monmouth, etc. My guy would have failed a field sobriety test about 3 times in the lane. The jock just, and I don't know how it works, so maybe what the jock was communicating to the horse wasn't good, but this guy couldn't figure out what his job was to do, and I'm the horse I'm talking about, in the stretch, and obviously that kills any of your momentum, and so I'm hoping that lesson was learned. 5-1 on the morning line versus some firsters, and as I said, numero 6. I just think opening time was their time. I have You Glow Girl, first time starter for Brad Cox. It's and then the Joe Sharp firster, the one. But I will say, of all the horses, and neither of them have in the mix, winning is very important. Don't get me wrong. I'll be interested to see how Stellar Lady, the 7 from Ken McPeak, runs on debut. But it's 4-2-1 for me.
Race number 6, plain vanilla, $40,000 claimer, 3/4 of a mile.
5-6-1-2. Excuse me, 5-6-2 for me. Aristocratic is my top pick for Robbie Falcone Jr. First off, the $40,000 claim. Never been off the board at Saratoga in 3 tries. None of them wins. And I saw the first time claimer, boy, almost 30% out of 33 runners. That's pretty darn good. The ROI means that the winners are bet. Joel Rosario meets leading jockey. Was he at 7? I think it's 7. Yeah, 7. Right. He had 2 on Sunday. And then for second, number 6, Happy Farm, going out for a sharp barn at 2-1 with Flavian Proc back to joy after a W. And for third, number 2. So 5-6-2 in the 6th.
I put my dark horse play of the day on top. I think Prince James is good enough to get it done in here, rebounding off of, as I say, a little bit of a dull effort going longer last time. So we'll put that one on top and hope for a nice price. Happy Farm in the 2nd spot. Back in for the 40 tag after having faced maybe a little saltier last time and gotten a win. I think this one is squarely in the mix, obviously, an Aristocratic with plenty of early speed and a little bit of success. Doesn't have a win in 3 starts, but 3 in the monies at Saratoga in the past. So for me in the 6th, 1-6-5.
And you do realize with the math, were this horse to win at about the morning line.
Oh, no.
What a position to be in on day 7 of the meet. We'll take a quick break and come back with a late pick for it.
It only takes one upset to make history, especially in Saratoga, the graveyard of champions, where the dark horse can overcome the odds, defeating the favorites and wowing the crowds. The smart bet is always the dark horse.
Keen Ice has got him! Keen Ice has won the Travers over American Pharoah in a dramatic upset.
Hello everyone, I'm Scott Bartley and I'm here at the West Condominiums in Saratoga Springs. And guess what? We are down to the home stretch. Everything is 2 bedrooms and 2 baths. Come make a selection of one of the greatest condos ever to be built in Saratoga Springs. We're starting in the upper 5s and the only rooftop penthouse available now under construction. Wow, just look at this patio. We have a rooftop pool, heated garage, balconies, and a gym. Call me at 518-281-6808.
Capital OTB is now streaming live on Roku. The RTN Racing channel on Roku lets you watch OTB TV live through your Roku device or your Amazon Fire Stick, rather than being limited to computers and mobile devices, which means you can now watch OTB live wherever you are. Simply open Roku, scroll to find the RTN channel, then click on OTB TV. OTB TV on Roku. Try it now.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Race number 7, open company, 3-year-olds and up. Fillies and Mares, maiden special weights, 5.5 on the turf.
2, 3, 4, and 6 for me. Crowding out Chad Brown, Klarovich runner, not seen since last year. If you were watching Loose on the Lead on Sunday, Steve Bick and I were talking, and Steve kind of pointed out an angle I talk about a lot. Lightly raced horses who get time off like this often come back improved. 2-year-olds to 3-year-olds, or lightly raced 3-year-olds to 4-year-olds, and particularly when you have connections like this who get them back off a layoff in fine fashion. So we'll look for crowding out, being very lightly raced to come back, potentially as an improved 4-year-old. Hey there in the 2nd slot. So far, the Brad Cox trainee has improved buyer-wise, star 1 to star 2 to star 3. Off the latest number, probably is the one to beat in here. And then Bally Dove in the 3rd spot. Wesley Ward, Stone Street runner, came back off a very long layoff to miss just a little bit as the 3 to 5 favorite last time at Monmouth. I would expect a good effort again today with this horse and these connections. So 2, 3, 4, and 6.
And no way is that a Seth Merrow time. That is a gift.
Yeah.
I mean, it's elegant and it's conservative,
I
like you
that
are.
Elegant.
It is an elegant looking tie. It's outstanding.
No, I almost thought it was one of mine, but it was it was.
It's a little too shiny. It has the pattern you like, but
no, it's too nice.
No, not that it's too nice. Your comfort zone is you like very conservative ties.
You're very right.
And you're gifted ones that are not in that ballywhack. And I can sit here using as you're wearing it's a tremendous tie. If you ever have an important event to go, that's the go-to tie for anything big. You win another horse racing award. That's the tie you wear. I'm 246. I'm crowding out. I like very much Chad Brown. Almost 30% off these type of layoffs. I mean, he's almost been that from the start, right? I mean, when he got in the career, horses off layoff was easy for him. Bally Dove is in my mix for 2nd, Seth has for 3rd. I'll touch on Mrs. Green that Seth doesn't have. Boy, I'll tell you, I think the 5.5 is going to help this runner.
Yeah.
It seems almost counterintuitive, but more on the engine early might help my runner in the race. 2, 4, 6.
Race number 8 on Wednesday afternoon. We're looking at optional claimers, non-winners of 2 other than 6 furlongs is the distance.
I thought this race was wide open, which I enjoyed. 6-8-1 for me. Put Linda Rice's runner in the top spot in this race. Coming off back-to-back 2nd place finishes, has never been off the board, but has never won at Saratoga in 4 tries. But I like the 7 furlong effort most recently. Now another runner, maybe with the 6, maybe with a little bit more speed up front early, will help this horse, because I think we're going to be sitting in a very attractive position. Whether we can get the job done or not is a different story. For 2nd, number 8, that's why the horse is 6-1. Number 8, Movie Moxie, goes out for George Weaver. We're certainly working, hoping the best there.
Yeah, really.
Been off since October, makes a seasonal debut. George, a very healthy 23% win off this type of layoff. And for 3rd, part of the entry, scheduled break for the number 3 post position, Short Summer Dress, 6-8-1.
9-6, 1A, and 2 for me. Up with Mischievous Diane on top. Lightly raced, couple of wins, couple of 2nd place finishes. I think this is a nice, talented runner for Ray Handel, and I think in the 2nd start back off a nice win last time is going to fit squarely with this group today. Piece of My Heart in the 2nd spot. A little bit of a layoff since the end of May. In this day and age, that's not a huge layoff though. But what we've seen so far has been promising. I will note, over the past 2 seasons, no wins. In the hunt very often, but no wins. So that's a little bit of a concern, obviously. And then Betsy Blue in the 3rd spot. A couple of nice 2nd place finishes most recently. Say this horse is in some very good form right now. Smash Ticket is also a little bit intriguing off the last buyer. But it was such an aberration, I wasn't quite sure what to make of that. We'll get some validation one way or the other on Smash Ticket today. I put that one down at the bottom of my mix. But I have it 9-6, 1A, and 2.
Feature this afternoon, State Breds, Fillies and Meredith, is Susie O'Kane, a mile and a 16th on the inner.
5, 3, 6, and 2. She's a Mia on top. Christophe Clement runner. Knocking on the door in the first couple of starts of the year. I think number-wise, those first 2 starts give this horse a little bit of an edge on this bunch. Morning line favorite, and again, I think with those last 2 numbers, the betting public will be on this horse. Lisa's Vision in the 2nd spot, lightly raced, nice improvement start 1 to start 2 to break the maiden. I think given the complexion of this field and what we saw in the first 2 starts, I think they're perfectly validated at taking the shot in stakes company here, and I think this horse probably can contend. And then going to root for our friend Eddie F. Saw Eddie the other day at the track. He was talking about Dream Central. Expected a nice run from this one off the win in the New York Stallion stakes race last time at 39-1, and why not? The horse was a maiden that day, and career start number 7 chunks the better part of the $150,000 purse into the bank account for our friends over at Eddie F's and Gary Siaka. So it's going to be fun to watch, and I always like to root for the locals. For me, in the ninth, 5, 3, 6, and 2.
You know, in the old days when there were fewer New York Stallion Series races, I think they're all late autumn. I used to call them the winners of 1/2 or more. There would be like 1/3, about between 20 and 33% in the field were maidens, and they got the money here. One quick thing, since I saw Lisa the other day, no, only kidding, but I mean, no, I did see the person for whom Lisa's vision. I know the couple, I know the owner, I know his wife, and that's for whom Lisa's vision is named. But I mean, this horse had talent right out of the gate. I mean, 6-5 on debut. We were doing the show when she had her second career start and was a comfortable winner at a little bit better price than the debut. Now she tries 2 turns, the offspring of Lauban. Remember Lauban only won 1 race in his career, the Jim Dandy?
Oh,
he was a maiden winning the Jim Dandy. I think he only ran 1 more time. He's already passed away as a stallion. I think he was going to be a useful stallion.
Eric Eo.
Yeah. She's a Mia is my second pick, and I have Dream Central. So 2 locals in the exact, and the Susie O'Kane, 3, 5, 6 for me.
Susie O'Kane herself a local as
yes.
well.
Big New York breeder.
Nice.
Opponent for
years ago, I think she actually had a show here on the network too. But yeah, a notable local breeder, and so it's nice that they're honoring her memory here.
Tomorrow's the Rick Violet.
Yeah, and we'll have some discussion on our show tomorrow. I'll talk about Aftercare Day as well, because it's Aftercare Day, kind of tied in nicely with Rick Violet, who that was a passion of his as well. The 10th and final at Saratoga today, maiden 40 claimers, going 5.5 on the grass.
3, 6, 4 for me. George Weaver sends out super quality, second time in for the tag. Good effort, just got beat, going 6 down at Belmont, comes back at a shorter distance. I think will sit could sit a good trip if you can get good position early. I saw a race the other day where I thought a jock had good position, and it was my opinion that they voluntarily gave it up in hopes of making a late run. I don't know that I'd make that decision too often, 5.5 turf sprints. If I get the position, I'm now committed to it. So for second, Blinding Light, second time starter, first in for the tag. For George Weaver, this one's at 2-1. And for third, Rugged Union. So 3, 6, 4 in Wednesday's
Yeah,
finale.
for me, there's almost nothing more frustrating as a bettor than to see your horse essentially beat the gate and get about a 5-length lead, and then you can see the jock like, nah.
Never leave them in the race. That's what I was saying earlier with kickers. No, I got to go on.
I have a 2, 6, 3, and 4. I'll put Rum and Tonic on top. Last couple on the dirt and then off the turfer, I think is going to be, and those were okay number-wise, but I think getting back to the turf is going to be intriguing for this one. Second slot, Blinding Light. This is another one of those where I'm questioning the maiden special weight to maiden claiming move, but there's clearly some talent there. Super quality in the third spot off some improving numbers. So for me, 2, 6, 3, and 4.
Well, that wraps up the Handicappers Report. It is getting warmer and warmer by the moment, so it's flip-flops.
Just stay tuned. You're going to kick things off and toss out some trends. Maybe give you some ideas to look forward to for the week ahead based on what we've seen so far.
Hopefully the
I'm looking
graphics I
forward to
made
it.
and sent in, initial foray for me, sharing some of my Excel spreadsheets. I hope they look good. I know the guys did their part. It's whether or not I did my part. Looking forward to it.
Yeah,
We'll have Kevin Cox in the middle break. We'll take a look back at some of the opening stakes races. Going to kind of be like a mini HNC from the old days, but Saratoga concentric now. We'll have Del Mar when they get underway and have some of their bigger ones. So he gets to go. I stay, ladies and gentlemen. It is a beautiful summer day at the spa.
No matter where in the world you are, the excitement of wagering on horse racing is just a click away. You'll get live streaming, past performances, race replays, our virtual tote board, analysis and selections from professional handicappers, a simple, safe, and secure wagering platform, and best of all, you get track prices. CapitalOTBBet.com. Bet any place, anytime at CapitalOTBBet.com. And be sure to download our new mobile app from the iTunes Store or Google Play.
What if there was a way to become a better horse player? To have a better knowledge of the game? To be more successful? What if there were a way to take what you've learned, what you know, and make better decisions, better choices? In horse racing, knowledge is a powerful tool. Race results and replays, past performances and live streaming, wagering from all your digital devices. Capital OTB. Become a better horse player.
You're watching OTB TV.